Next question है natural disaster profile of India. So first, earthquakes. Earthquakes are a sudden violent shaking of the ground, typically causing great destruction as a result of movements within the Earth's crust or volcanic action. The Indian subcontinent has a history of devastating earthquakes. Next, tsunami. A tsunami is a series of water waves caused by the displacement of a large volume of a body of water, usually an ocean. Tsunamis are giant waves caused by earthquakes or volcanic eruption under the sea. Next, landslides. A landslide is a movement of rock, debris, or earth down a slope. Landslides are also known as landslips, slumps, or slope failure. Landslides are avalanches are among the major hydrogeological hazards that affect large part of India. Next, floods. Flooding may occur as an overflow of water from water bodies such as a river, lake, or ocean in which the water overtops, resulting in some of that water escaping its usual boundaries. On an average, in India, about 30 million people are affected annually. Next, droughts. A drought is a period of below average precipitation in a given region, resulting in prolonged shortage in the water supply, whether atmospheric, surface water, or groundwater. A drought can last for months or years, or may be declared after a few as 15 days. About 50 million people are affected annually by drought in India. Next is National Disaster Management Authority or NDMA. The NDMA is responsible for laying down the policies, plans and guidelines for disaster management and to ensure timely and effective response to disaster. It is responsible for laying down guidelines to be followed by the state authorities in drawing up the state plans. Next topic is disaster mitigation approaches. The disaster mitigation can be divided into two approaches, structural approach and non-structural approach. Structural approach, it is divided into engineered structures and non-engineered structures. Structures that is constructed by architects and engineers are engineered structures. It involves various activities like planning and designing of bridges, dams, buildings. Non engineered structure is something which is constructed by local people with the available local knowledge and skills. It is constructed by manson or carpenters, etc. Next is non-structural approach. This approach is the disaster mitigation is human behavior oriented, which does not focus on the engineered structures. It is called as a man adapts nature. The key components of non-structural approach is mitigation, legislation, insurance, information, education and training, incentives and public awareness. Next, damage assessment. Damage assessment is an important process to assimilate the extent of impact of a disaster, both short term and long term, and forms the basics of any disaster management. Elements of damage assessment are identification of type of information needed and sources of data collection through primary and secondary sources, analysis of data, data interpretation, report writing, drawing conclusion, making forecasts. Next question is indigenous coping strategies in handling disasters. Some of the coping strategies to deal with disasters are as follows. First is people wrap all available sheets, rice and paddy and bury it underground when they move for safer places. Second, some families wrap all their important papers, documents and bury it underground before leaving their houses. People grow banana trees around their houses as they use them as fodder for the animals when disaster like cyclone or flood or drought occurs. Dogs barking or howling without any reason in a village are signs of a cyclone. They prepare strategies to deal with cyclones or floods during these days. People don't plant big trees around their houses to cope with disasters. Next is Uttarakhand flood 2013. The state of Uttarakhand and the adjoining areas received heavy rainfall during 14th to 17th June 2013, which was about 375% more than the benchmark rainfall in a normal monsoon. Out of 13 districts, 5 districts were affected badly due to flash floods. The major reason for the flash flood was extreme rainfall, melting of Sorabari Glacier, and eruption of Mandakini River. The following are the major lessons learned from this disaster was are landslide risk zonation mapping be completed on priority. The existing emergency communication system be reviewed regularly to ensure last mile connectivity during disasters. Tourism related development should not be allowed along the river banks. Blasting for development activities be avoided as it may destabilize the weak rocks in mountainous regions. Next question is community-based disaster management plan. It involves various phases of a disaster such as pre-disaster, during disaster and post-disaster phase. CBDM plan in pre-disaster phase to conduct community orientation, stock taking of resources, risk and vulnerability, create a preparedness plan. CBDM during disaster phase, organizing search, rescue and evacuation activities, providing shelter to people and animals, clearing debris and identifying dead bodies, assessing the damage. CBDM plan in post-disaster phase, carry out a detailed damage assessment, preparation of rehabilitation plan to carry out social rehabilitation, monitoring CBDM.